What's going on here gamers? Today we're going to be jumping into a bit more Diablo 4. What we're covering today is going to be one of the core mechanics in the game. That's going to be all about your Fortify and what happens when you get fortified. So if you need to know, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be taking a little look at a mechanic in the game, and one that you'll definitely want to know, especially if you're one of those classes that's going to be up close and personal. I'd probably say the main example for this is going to be your Barbarian, but also classes such as the Druid will definitely want to know about Fortified and why it's going to be so important when you're playing the game. Now, like I said, I think Barbarian is probably going to have the most to do with Fortified in the game, so some great examples are going to be the items on screen here, and of course one of his shouts in order to generate that Fortify. Things like these will work massively in your favour. Also things in his skill tree such as the counter-offensive, defensive stance, and of course thick skin will all help him to either build or maintain that Fortified. So if we jump into the open world, this is going to be a classic example of your standard health globe, nothing going on with it whatsoever. This is going to be what it looks like when it's completely full, and the only thing you're going to be worrying about is going to be your health. Now at this point we've had a shield pop. If you see this blue cover your health bar, that's going to be a shield, so don't worry about that. It's not really going to affect your Fortify, although it can definitely help you for a lot of survivability. Like we saw, we can generate Fortify a number of ways now. One of the best ways is going to be our shout, and we're going to start to see Fortify creep up from the bottom here. So as you can see on our health bar now, right at the bottom, we've got an additional layer. Looks a little bit like a mask of a darker additional red going over our already red health bar. Ultimately, I'd like it if they probably took out the middle bit and just made the outside a lot glowier. That would be a lot easier to see, but once you know what you're looking for, you're pretty much golden. So whilst I've generated some Fortify here, I'm not actually fortified yet. And if I'm not in combat and not generating it in any way, then obviously it will fade over time. Another great thing that you should definitely know is that if your health bar is cracked like this, then you've basically been affected by vulnerable, which means you're going to take 20% extra damage, so it's definitely something you want to watch out for. But at this stage, if I pause it a little bit, now as you see, we have managed to raise how much Fortify we've actually got above how much health we've got. And now because we've done that, you've got a complete outside border. This is the easy way of knowing whether you're fortified or not. Big border on the outside, good to go, means you're going to get 10% reduced damage as standard. And like we saw earlier, there's a few other things that play into it, so you can get all the way up to about 19% on the Barbarian through his skill tree, and probably a lot of other things going on in other areas as well. But ultimately the main thing as a close range class, be trying to maintain that as much as possible, as it's really going to help your mitigation. As you start to get stronger, as you start to get a better build together, this will become much easier. But if you look here, even though I'm fortified, I'm still taking an absolute pasting. It doesn't act as a second health bar, it just acts as a kind of mask, and once it's completely full up or above your health bar, then it's going to mean you reap the benefits of it. Now if I slow this down just here on this boss fight, this is going to show you a perfect example. Full health, full Fortify, and we've got a full shield, and because we're taking a big bit of damage from the boss here, the shield is going to take all of that. Whenever I'm taking that damage without it, you can see that not only is my health going down, but also my Fortify as well. So you're definitely going to want to find a way in order to generate Fortify and be able to generate health in order to have a very tanky build. Also, trust me, try and fit Unstoppable somewhere in your build as well. Being hit by a crowd control in this game is a nightmare for those close range battles, and in general you'll probably find if you're really struggling with these types of classes, it's usually one of three things. 1, your build is not up to scratch yet, so you're struggling to take on the content. 2, you're not 100% sure on the core mechanics of your class yet. Or 3, you're tackling a tough enemy like a boss, and you're struggling to mitigate what they're doing, usually because you're stuck in a crowd control or a big old AoE effect. But yeah, once you learn how to use Fortify correctly, once you get some damage reduction in your build, and once you're able to be a little bit tankier, overall, you'll be in a much better place. Right, you gamers, hopefully that's helped a few of you guys and girls out. No doubt I've made this too long, but there'll be a lot more content from me on the way, and an absolute abundance when Diablo 4 finally comes out. But as always, for all things gaming, take care. I'll see you next day.